Selecting a flight school can be quite a challenge, especially if you're in a different country. Trust me, I've been there. There are so many options with so many mixed reviews. So today I'm here to help you and give you a step-by-step on how to choose a flight school that fits your needs. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Pedro, I'm from Brazil, and I moved to Canada to become a pilot. So this channel is here to help people like you, future pilots, to know a little bit more about pilot training and life in Canada as an international student. Before you dive into the world of flight schools, something very important you need to figure out, and that is, what's your goal in the aviation field? Do you just want to get your private license to fly for fun with your friends and family? Do you want to get your commercial license and maybe buy an airplane and operate as an air taxi service? Or perhaps you're looking for a fresh start as an international student in a new country to eventually get to the airlines in North America or whatever you want. Once you locked in that goal, go Esteban! Okay, that guy used to be a subscriber and now he's flying solo. That's really cool. Once you have your goal locked in, that's when the hunt for the perfect flight school starts. As you begin on your search for flight schools, you're gonna encounter so many options. Some of them are really old and have been there for many years. Some flight schools are brand new, they just opened last year. The age of the flight school doesn't necessarily translate to how good they are. There's a lot of very good and also very bad old flight schools, and there are also really good and bad options between the new schools. With that being said, it can still be very risky to join a brand new flight school as they don't have a track record of their students. You know, there's not a lot of students and there's not enough data for you to gather about that flight school. For international students like myself and maybe you, we depend on getting a student visa to come to Canada and study. And the only flight schools that can give you the documentation and the letter of acceptance for you to apply for your visa are designated learning institutions. So you need to make sure that the flight school you're looking for is a designated learning institution. I'll try to find a link with all the designated learning institutions of Canada so you can make sure your school is in that list. Another crucial aspect is the number of instructors in your flight school. Not necessarily just the number of instructors, but the ratio between instructors and students. If your flight school has 100 instructors, but 10,000 students, that's not necessarily really good. You want a flight school with enough instructors to take care of you and all your classmates, so you're not there stuck in long wait lists as some people around the Vancouver area. So just make sure your flight school is not flooded with students. On a related note, it's also very important that you know the number of aircrafts your school has. If you have plenty of instructors but no airplanes, guess what? You also can't fly. You have to always be flying, always in the air, so you don't have long breaks in between your flights. So make sure your school has enough instructors and also enough airplanes. If your school has high-wing airplanes, low-wing airplanes, multi-engine aircraft like this one, it's gonna help you throughout the process. You can try different airplanes for different types of flights. Another good thing is flight simulator. Sometimes, and for some types of flights, we're allowed to do it in the flight simulator. Flight simulators don't depend on the weather. They are cheaper to operate. So if you need to do instrument training for your CPL, for your multi-IFR, whatever it is, having a flight simulator is gonna save you time and money. You can set the sim just as you like, for the conditions you want, to try the exercises you need, without having to taxi, burn fuel, go to the practice area, coming back. So if your school has 1 or 2 flight sims, that's perfect. Does your choosing flight school has good ground facilities? That's also something important to consider. Your school shouldn't just be the place you go to fly, but also somewhere you can go to study. Do you have rooms to study by yourself? Do you have books available for you, computers for you to check the weather and research things you might need? Does your school have enough hangars to store some of the aircraft inside? During winter, it can be really hard to start these old machines, so if they've been stored inside in a warm place, You're gonna save a lot of time. These types of things can also help to streamline your flight training. And not only the hangars that belong to your school, but also the apron around you. Do you have a fuel pump near the school, or are you gonna have to taxi to the other side of the airport every time you wanna fill it up? We have a fuel pump right here, so that's perfect. It saves us a lot of time and also money, not having to turn the airplanes on before refilling. What is the status of the airport itself? Is it a towered airport? Do they have air traffic control? Is there more than one runway at your airport? How is the traffic? Is it too crowded? Too many flight schools? That's also something very important. Hey, hello, Mr. Frank. Some airports around Vancouver are very crowded and people have to, wait in line before taking off. They can't join the circuit because the circuit pattern is full. That will also have a big impact on your flight training. And what about outside of the airport? Where's the airport located? Are there practice areas around the airport? Are there other airports around? So you can fly around a little bit, plan trips around your airport. How long is it gonna take for you to go from your airport to the practice area? Other than the airport itself and its location, what about radio instruments? You're gonna have to practice VOR, NDB, ILS. I know maybe you're not familiar with those things yet, but it's important to know if your airport or the airports around you have those things and all the structure you need to get your license. Weather can have a significant impact not only on your flight training, but also in your day-to-day life. Are you okay with extremely cold temperatures? Can you deal with -20, -30 Celsius every day for a long period of time? If the answer is no, maybe you should live in a warmer city. If you can handle that, sure, go for it. What about the city you're gonna live in? While your primary goal is aviation and your flight training, you also need to take into consideration your life. You're still gonna have a life, you're still gonna have a routine, friends. You'd probably wanna go out, explore the surroundings of the city. This is gonna be your new home, and you need to make sure it's a place you not necessarily love, but at least like. So choosing a city full of fun activities can have a really positive impact on your flight training. If you're happy outside of the school, you're gonna have more fun during your flight training as well. And you're also really gonna appreciate the beautiful surroundings once you're flying above it. I completely understand the importance of affordability, especially when dealing with currency conversion. Trust me, I've been there. However, you should never compromise the quality of your training just because of the price. Behind flight training, there's a lot of expenses involved on the maintenance, fuel, hangars, parking, training materials, everything you can imagine goes into the total cost that you're paying. So if a school is offering you your whole training for a very low price, maybe they're hiding something, or maybe they're saving money where they shouldn't, and that's not something really good, right? So make sure your flight school is transparent. They're showing you all the fees, all the fuel surcharges, or any other things you might have to pay them down the line. And you don't want to be surprised with an extra $5,000 invoice down the road. It's all good, yeah?
So, I wanted to add something.
Yeah.
So, I was just looking for schools, right? One thing what other schools do is that they don't show all the costs, do the taxes. Some schools are even reducing the hours. They're not even showing you all the hours. So that was one thing I couldn't get it earlier.
Yeah.
Because I saw all the other schools, why are they so cheap? And when I talked to them, added all the costs, only then I got it.
Exactly, yeah. Because a lot of people are like, hey bro, I like it. It's too expensive because there's no hidden stuff, right? Yeah.
So
that's true. Thank you. When he was comparing flight school, he thought this one was a little bit more expensive than the others, but when he really started digging into it, he saw that other schools were maybe hiding some costs, not including all the hours, not including the taxes on the price. That's why they appear to be cheaper, but they're actually the same price. Flight schools don't make a lot of money on the hourly rates of the airplane. It's a very thin profit margin. So they should be all around the same costs. If a flight school appears to be too cheap, there's something there. So after all this research, by now you probably should have a short list of the best schools for your need. If you can, it's good to pay them a visit just to know that they're legit, they're there, maybe talk face to face with their staff and see who makes you feel more comfortable, more welcomed. And that might make a huge difference. I understand that Being in a different country, it's impossible to visit a school without having a visa or being, halfway across the globe. Maybe you can send a friend or maybe a family member to visit the school for you, someone you trust, just so they can tell you, hey, they're legit, they're really cool people, make your move to Canada. Before I made my move to Canada, my brother came and visited the school. He told me everything was good, the school was here, the airplanes were real, and I wasn't so scared making the decision and investing the money towards the school. Lastly, and perhaps the most important part, is talking to other students. You really should talk with people that are currently flying on the flight school you want to join, or maybe someone that has already graduated from the flight school. They are the ones that can give you an unfiltered review about the flight school. Online reviews can be really misleading. A lot of people do them out of hatred. Maybe they had a personal problem with the flight school and they go online and they say, this is the worst flight school I've ever seen in my life, they're stealing my money. And at the same time, some flight schools might have awesome 5-star reviews because the school is, maybe asking the students to leave a 5-star review in exchange of gifts or discounts. I don't know how they do it. So don't go out there believing everything and all the reviews you read online, because they can be really misleading. Just talk to someone that's currently flying so they can give you an honest review about the flight school. And if you're not happy with the flight school, you can always move. If I wasn't happy here, I would definitely be in the other side of the airport with a different flight school. So how did I apply this list that I just gave it to you in my decision process to find my flight school? So my goals were to get my full training so I could start working as an instructor, build more hours to eventually either join an airline or other operation. So I needed a flight school that could give me PPL, CPL, multi-IFR, and instructor rating. And this school had that program and I was pretty happy with it. My school wasn't really like a brand new school. They were under a new management that had a good plan for the school, and I liked what they told me and their vision and what they wanted to achieve. This school is a designated learning institution, so they gave me the letter of acceptance I needed for my student visa. I applied for the visa and I got it, so that went pretty smooth. They had a lot of new instructors and they didn't have so many students when I joined, so I could fly almost every day. They told me that before I joined. I was happy with it and it worked out really good. They were buying new aircrafts on top of the ones they already had. They had good plans and goals to expand their operation. And I knew that I would have enough airplanes to do my solo flights and my time building with my dual flights, everything I needed. So throughout my training was always easy to book solo flights. There are some extra airplanes that instructors normally don't use and are here for students to fly solo. My school also has 2 flight simulators. One is already operating, the other one is being assembled right now. So that can save you a lot of time and money to do all the sim operations. Ground facilities here are pretty good. We have some extra rooms and briefing rooms for students to do their homework, extra computers for us if we need to use them. The school has 3 hangars plus outside parking lot. Pitt Meadows Airport is really great. We have 3 runways. It's a towered airport. We have a VOR. We are the only school at this apron, so the fuel pump is basically ours. It's right there. We don't have to wait in line for takeoff. There's never people refilling their planes there. Very streamlined. There's no time being wasted in the procedures here. Location wise, we're right next to the practice area, so we take off, we're there, we do the exercises, we come back, we land. There's no traveling to the practice area, so that also saves you time and money, so pretty good. Weather in Vancouver can be tricky in the winter. People say it rains a lot. It rains more than the average, but we can still fly. You're gonna fly less than you fly in summer, that's for sure. Days are shorter during winter, but they're shorter everywhere in North America. At least Vancouver is not crazy cold, so the weather here is as good as you can get in Canada for my liking. If you're fine with minus 30 degrees, maybe there are better places for you. Vancouver is a great city. There's a lot of mountains, sea, waterfall, glaciers, rivers. If you enjoy being outdoors, hiking, running, exploring, snowboarding, mountain biking, whatever it is, you can do it around Vancouver, Squamish, Whistler, in the cities around here. I'm loving it. Anytime I have some free days and I'm not at school, I'm exploring, I'm doing some outdoorsy stuff, and I'm loving it. Some people say that my school is a little bit more expensive than others. Once you actually compare the prices, the taxes, and all the fees, the flight schools are around the same price. Again, if some flight school is telling you, hey, we're $20,000 cheaper than them, they're either lying to you or they hiding fee, I don't know. Just be careful there. After I did my shortlist, I really enjoyed what this school had to offer, so I'm happy with the choice I made. If I did regret, I would move somewhere else. Before I came here, I was talking to a Brazilian guy that used to be here in Canadian Aviation College. He gave me all the insights I needed. It can be very hard to find people to give you an honest opinion and a good review, so you have to find it, you have to try. If I can help you with a review of schools around here, I'll be happy to do that as well. So before I came to Canada, it was really hard for me to find people who could give me and show me the way, you know, to give me insights about flight training in the Vancouver area. I found one or two people, but it wasn't really helpful. And that was one of the reasons why I started this channel. It was to actually put information out there, useful information that other aspiring pilots could use before they started their pilot training. If this content is helpful for you in any way, I would really appreciate if you show some love, give a like, subscribe for next videos like this, because my mission is showing you what's going on during my pilot training and how you can get here, how you can do the same, how you can become a pilot in Canada. Additionally, don't hesitate in asking any questions you might have, either down in the comments here or on Instagram. It's Fly with Pedro. So yeah, thank you for tuning in, and I'm looking forward to catching you in the next video. Take care. Okay, this is a light test, already with a sound check. 1, 2, 3, check, check. Can you hear the plane in the back? I don't know.